Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at two games again. This first one is a mirror matchup, Vanguard versus Vanguard, and we're going to be on Lost Hope. One quick little tip that I have right off the bat is if you use the Good Luck Have Fun ping on this map or any multiplayer map that's more than 2-player, you can put it in a different corner of the map than where you spawn, and it almost 100% of the time tricks them into going over there. Usually people just do the Good Luck Have Fun on top of their base, and so if you put it on a different spawn location, you can sometimes get them to do a different scout. In this game, I'm going to be going for fast hedgehogs again. Pretty standard at this point that you've seen, but I'm going to be opening up with dogs, and that's the little variation. I'm going to be doing some dog pressure, and the reason I'm doing this is because I see he's not added any buildings or anything. He's just making workers, which seems to indicate a CC first, an expansion first. And so I'm going to be going for some pressure to try and shut that down. Little did I know this guy is new to the game, and he's just not very good. And so he's going to drop a barracks there. And similar to what I was saying previously, I'm very sorry if this is you. I'm very sorry indeed. But from here on out, I'm also going to be trying a new type of video where I change from observer point of view to first person perspective on important moments to kind of see my micro and what I'm up to and that sort of stuff. And so please let me know what you think of that, because it does take a significant amount of time to edit it. You can see we just did our little transition here compared to kind of the normal just uploading either first person or observer. It takes a bit longer than the other two. So I hope it's worth the effort, and I hope it improves things. So I'm just going to be going back and forth. I'm going to keep trying to make workers. I'm going to keep rallying my dogs over as I continue to make them. He's going to try and drop a sentry post, but I'm going to focus that down. And his workers are overcharged, so I'm not actually trying to fight. You'll see I kind of poke in and then immediately back out. And that's because I lose that fight. Overcharged workers, you want to try and avoid them as much as possible. They're very strong, and so yeah, I kind of poke in and out and trying to waste his time. I'm going to drop a biokinetics lab, and that's for the upgrade for the dogs to do plus 16 versus light units. And his dog is going to be harassing, so I'm going to get a surround on it actually with my workers in the mineral line. And I'm just going to refocus here. He's going to get the sentry post up because his overcharged workers. And we're going to head back to the observer perspective to take a look at the rest of the game. From here, I'm getting my biokinetics lab, and when he dropped this second sentry post, I kind of knew what was going on, that he was a new player, and I started to feel bad. But again, I never really want to type or anything, and it feels insulting, so I'm just going to play out the game the best I can, and I'm going to start that research there for the dog upgrade. Going to continue making dogs, and once I gather up enough Luminite, I'm going to throw down my mech bay, and that's going to be on the right side. Remember, with your SimCities, you always want your habitats near your important buildings, because later in the game we're going to be upgrading that to a solar habitat for that bonus production. You can see I've already upgraded the solar habitat there for the biokinetics lab, and I'm building the mech bay right next to it. I'm just continuing to pressure here with the dogs, just checking if he's got an expansion or anything. And as we go back to my first person perspective, we're going to be taking a look and trying to poke in a little bit and get some damage. I see he's got 2 buzzsaw turrets. You cannot engage buzzsaw turrets. They do 2 times damage to biological units, which their base damage is 13 and it bounces 3 times, so that moves it up to 26. And so over the course of a fight, a buzzsaw turret can very quickly put out thousands, literally, of damage if it's not dealt with right away, depending on how many units there are and how long the fight is and all that sort of stuff. So you definitely want to try and avoid that. I get an overcharge here, and as you can see, my dogs just get shredded right away. And I did get an overcharge, and I got to poke some of his units. I only lost 4 or 5 dogs, so it's not the biggest deal. On my side of the map, I'm going to be going for an expansion here, and I'm just kind of hiding the dogs in the corner there. Maybe I can bring them back in the future to try and poke and harass again. I'm going to salvage my biokinetics lab because I no longer need it since I got the upgrade. You can see there I'm hovering over it, and I'm not making exos this game, I'm making hedgehogs instead, which means I don't have a use for the biokinetics lab anymore. So I'm fine to just salvage that and move the solar habitat into the other mech bay. I'm going to come in here, but he's got another sentry post. That's his third one near the ramp. And my dogs are going to get picked off there. He found them in the corner. He's going to be going for an expansion in that kind of corner area. I saw him bring down those workers and start walking forward. So I'm going to queue up a worker to open up that side of the map just so that I can go in and try and poke that. You're going to notice the worker here. I queued him up incorrectly. You can see I started with the back trees and then went to the front ones. So he's kind of trying to get there the best he can, but he's struggling. I'm going to reassign that in a second here once I see him getting all confused. His Lancer's going to come up, but Hedgehogs do bonus versus Lancers, so you're going to see me just kite around and absolutely crush him in this fight. I felt so bad while doing this. He sent a dog drone, which is, you know, a complete waste of energy most times. He was doing that to scout as well, to scout if I had a second base in the corner there. But as you can see, I'm going to promote my front Hedgehog just so he can tank, and I'm not even going to bother microing. And just going to finish off the last of these Lancers here, and then I'm going to move in. And sure enough, he's expanded there, so I'm going to start attacking, and he's going to GG. So once again, I apologize to that gentleman, and that's going to move us from 523 to 623. Okay, and moving into our second game here, we're going to be versus Vibe Lol. I believe he's a streamer. I think he played StarCraft, and he's been playing quite a bit of Celestial. This will not be the last game you see versus him, but this was the first time I ran into him whilst on my climb. Still fairly new in the ladder and all that. He's going to be sending a Morph Core across the map right away, and we're going to be countering with our Scout so that we can take a look. And behind this, he's going to be going for double crystals onto the collector. Usually, this indicates he's doing some type of Luminite heavy thing, which might be a double expansion, or Argent, or he could be going up into Kree, but he'd be taking Therium pretty quickly after if he was going into Kree. I'm kind of making the decision whether I should check from the Arc Ship or just follow this Morph Core, and I'm going to make the decision to follow the Morph Core. Now that it can morph into any building, it's very important to keep track of things that are out on the map. And if the Arc Ship is moving across the map, it's slower than this, and it's probably going to about the same location. So I'm just going to keep my dog nearby, and I'm going to use the Howl ability, and I'm going to keep eyes on it the whole time. Behind this, I know it's coming across the map, and I suspect it's a rush, even though it's not. I thought it was. And so I'm going to be going up to Hedgehogs right away defensively. I'm going to be getting my barracks, and there's my mech bay and my supply depot at the same time. Still keeping an eye on that Morph Core there, you can see in the mini-map. He's just sending it across to harass, but this is a bad move. This is a complete waste of a Morph Core. It does hardly any damage and all that. Behind this, he's going to be sending his Arc Ship over to the double Luminite so that he can get more resources. And that Morph Core is going to be arriving anytime now. The map is very big. This is Isle of Dread, which is a very big map, thankfully. So it took him a long time to get over here, and I had plenty of warning that this was coming. And so I'm going to have no problem getting out my Hedgehog right in time. And I should get it out in just a second here as it's producing. And then I'm going to be able to push that away without too much hassle. One Morph Core, you can out-repair it. So if you just assign one worker, like you see there, to repair, it's not going to be able to kill anything. So once I realized this kind of wasn't an actual dedicated rush or anything, I'm just going to not overreact, and I'm going to send my one Hedgehog, try and push that away, and he's going to be on the run. So my Scout is going to go across the map and take a look at what else is going on. It's very important to get as much information as to what he's up to as I can. And on his side, he's got a second collector with additional crystals coming up. My Scout's going to go into his second base there and see all that, whilst my Hedgehog chases down and kills that crystal, or that Morph Core in the bottom left. I don't know if you saw that, but the little red dot disappeared. That was me killing the Morph Core with the Hedgehog. I've got two Hedgehogs moving across the map now, along with my Scout, and I notice he doesn't have much. He's got one creation chamber, which means he can produce one unit at a time, and he's going pretty greedy on the economics, so I'm going to try and lay on some pressure here. Early pressure is pretty good versus Celestial, especially if they're going for this type of greedy build. He's got a bunch of crystals, so we're going to switch into my first-person perspective as we see the micro here. Pretty much all you want to do is you want to try and have the dog tank, But also, if they're running and trying to micro, you want to move the dog up in front of the unit to try and kind of block him a little and get in his way. I did activate the anti-air. I was going to try and kill that, but he upgraded this link node here, which means I'm going to have to deal with this. I'm going to pull back this hedgehog as it's being focused and grab the health plant, and then I'm going to move back in. I have additional hedgehogs on the way, and I also have my tier 2 on the way, which is important because soon enough I'm going to be able to promote units and stuff like that. But anytime one of the units is being focused, I'm just going to grab them and just move them away. As we go back into the observer perspective, you can see he's adding his third collection array along with additional crystals, and this is really going to ramp up his economy. He's taking 0 Therium right now, which means he's going to have only Luminite, and that's going to mean a lot of Argents. He's going to be adding additional creation chambers, and behind this I'm going to be adding additional hedgehogs and taking my second expansion. He activated the defensive ability, but one thing to take note of is that will always focus creep camps first. For some reason there's something with the AI targeting. I imagine that's going to be fixed very soon. But if you saw he activated it and it did nothing, that's because it was targeting the speed camp up there instead. He's going to send his Argent up, but he's got nothing here. So I'm just going to turn these into anti-air mode and try and kill the crystals the best I can. I think the crystals are a bit of a better target than the collection array, but both are valid. I'm going to hit the shield when he hits the defensive ability, Sovereign's Watch. It's not going to matter, my micro was a little bit off, so I lose a tier 2 hedgehog there, but it's not a big deal. I'm just going to move out, and I got some good damage in, and I'm just going to wait for that to end and go right back in. Behind this you can see he's adding 4 creation chambers. That is a lot of production, and he's technically on 3 bases, so I guess that's alright. Behind this I'm adding additional workers, and I'm still only on that 1 mech bay. You kind of only need 1 mech bay while you're still gearing up with your workers, and then soon enough I'm going to be going into additional ones. I actually go right back in like I mentioned, and I'm going to push that collection array and those crystals off. He's got no choice but to leave. He does not have the production yet to stop these hedgehogs. I'm going to take a look over here, but this is dead space, so I'm not going to be able to get anything done over there. Behind this he's adding additional batteries and link nodes, and he's still got those a pretty big stronghold here with his 6 creation chambers. They're finally starting to warp in, and he's adding a lot of batteries to charge up all these Argents that he's going to be making. I pop in and I'm going to anti-air mode. I'm just going to try and pick off a crystal, and it's going to work. I'm going to get one, and I'm just going to be happy with that, and I'm going to back off a little, but then when he starts to fight, I'm going to fight him and then use his defensive ability, so I back out. Instead, I'm going to try and be productive, so I'm going to poke at the creep camp, but I decide I probably shouldn't take it. I should focus elsewhere, so I'm microing and macroing back at home. I'm going to be adding on a barracks, and that is so that I can build a sentry post. I salvaged that earlier. Remember, you can always salvage for full return on your investment. That's 150 back, and you can rebuild it at a later time without any consequences. So I'm going to rebuild that. I'm going to send 2 workers across the map to start building that repair. I'm going to go up here and pick off this collection array. Pretty good move. Always trying to be moving around the map. Celestial, they're pretty spread out a lot of the time, and so you can always go around them like that. And I'm going to go up here and start shooting at these batteries. Batteries are a very important target. He's going to be forced to use another one of his Sovereign's Watch. So I'm going to head back over here, and I'm just going to kind of wait. My bobs here actually see the Argent. I did see that while I was in game, and so I'm pretty prepared, and I knew they were coming across the map. My options here are to counterattack or to try and defend at home, and so I'm going to try and defend at home mostly. I'm getting ready back at home. You can see I've got a sentry post going up on the left side there, and I should have one more coming up soon in the main. My hedgehogs are going to go out to try and intercept them and do a bit of micro. I'm missing that on the observer thing. What am I observing over here? Well, they did go out to try and do that. You can see they took a bit of a fight, and they're going to back up. And I'm not building a sentry post here immediately because I do have overcharge as a tool that I can use. I don't have the energy right now, but I was more than confident that the workers and the hedgehogs alone can probably take it. Argent are strong until they run out of energy, and when they run out of energy, they're one of the weakest units in the game. You can see how little damage he's doing, even though he's got so many units. I can pretty much out-repair it. Once high energy ones come in on the right side, suddenly he does a lot more damage. But now, you can see he's out of energy, and he's not going to break this. He's not going to be able to kill it. He's trying to shoot workers and stuff. Workers don't take much damage from that either. And I'm going to do some micro to try and kill some specific Argents. While on the other side, I'm going to finish that sentry tower, and I'm going to load my bobs in. You can see he's got 5 units shooting my hedgehog at 1 HP, but it can just be out-repaired. Because when they are out of energy, they no longer do bonus damage, which means their base damage is 8, and 8 is, you know, the same as a dog pretty much, and they shoot very slow. So I'm going to be able to clean all this up. And as we move into the next section here, I'm going to be moving across the map. He's got a crystal going across here. Goes pretty quick. I'm not going to be able to pick that off, but I'm going to try. I get a bit of damage in on it and back up. This is where I spot that he's got a creation chamber on my side of the map, and I figure out what's going on. He's designated that as the prime building, and he's going to be sending every one of his creation chambers over there, and he's just going to be spamming Argent to try and kill it. At this point, I try and throw down a sentry post because I realize what's going on. This is an all-in. And I overcharge as well. Remember, overcharge is a very great defensive tool, and it's actually good if he's shooting my workers. If he's wasting energy and shooting my workers, I'm not super upset about that, because then when he actually has to fight my army, it's going to be a lot weaker because he's not going to have that energy available to him. I'm going to throw down the sentry post again with a whole bunch of guys, and I'm just going to be doing some micro. I decided not to show the first person perspective on this one because it's more or less the same as the other ones. Move back the ones that are hurt and kind of just open fire. I manually target with the sentry post to heal the hedgehog that he's focusing, resulting in only 1 loss for me and like 10 for him. So overall, that was pretty solid for me. He's just rallying out more and more and more. I was going to try and kill his creation chamber, but I'm going to realize he's pretty all in on this, and so I'm going to have to back up again because I can't fight that when they have that high energy. I need greater numbers in order to do so. You can see on his side of the map, he's building absolutely nothing. He's all in on the creation chambers, just trying to build more and more. And he's going to take a look if I've got a 3rd base. I don't know if he knows I expanded in the top left. He doesn't initially, at least. And so I'm going to be able to keep that expansion safe. But I do have a sentry post with a bob in there as well, just in case. He's going to come in and try and focus down one of my units. I'm going to hit the shield on it. When he targets the next one, I'm going to bring it back. And I'm going to back up into the sentry post here. And whichever one he opts to focus, I'm going to try and out-heal. And that's going to provide more time. You can see I manually retarget there. And that's just going to provide more time, and he's going to have to shoot more. You can see the sentry post started to heal 1, and then I immediately swapped it over. And when it gets low, I'm just going to back it up. And I swap it immediately. And that's on my tier 3 hedgehog, and he's got a lot more HP. So he's going to be able to live through that. And I'm going to clean all of it up again. I think I only took 1 or 2 losses there. Again, another massive trade for me. And again, I'm going to try and push out and see if I can't snipe off this creation chamber out here. But sure enough, he's built a ton more Argents, and I don't think I can fight this again. I'm going to do a bit of trading here, because it's kind of now or never. But I am going to lose this fight, and I am aware of it, especially as more pop out. So I'm going to have to back out here. I have additional mech bays at my 2nd base, and you can see I'm floating a decent bit, so I should probably add an additional one even. That Lancer there, that's not a bad call. Like I said, the Argent is only strong when he's got a lot of energy, meaning if you have a Lancer to soak a bunch of shots, that's just draining their energy, and that makes them weaker. Unless there are batteries present to refill that energy, it's not a bad call. At this point, he figures out about my 2nd base, and so I kind of know he's got the option to go to my main base or my 2nd base, and he's going to kind of be heading up to my natural here while making more Argent. I only have 3 hedgehog at my 2nd base, but I do have 2 repair towers. There's one more behind this that you can see. He's going to come in, and he's going to snipe my Argent there. And you can see the energy is mostly drained already. He's going to focus fire all of them, and they're pretty much all out of energy. So now's my time to push in and try it. As he focuses that guy, I'm going to try and get the shield off. Right off cooldown, I use the shield. Shield is very strong, and I'm going to micro that back as soon as he starts to target it. He's still focusing the hedgehog with the shield on, so he's wasting a ton of shots, really. That's not a big deal. And he's going to try and get that tier 2 guy, and anytime they're low, I'm just going to click on them and move them up and over, and then hold position them so that they can be safe. I'm going to try and build a sentry post, but it's a little aggressive, and once I realize just how far forward he's going and he's adding batteries, I'm I'm going to need to back up and play a bit more defensive. So you can see additional micro here. Anytime he focuses one, I'm just trying to pull it back. I'm trying to get the Bob turret there to repair as best I can. And I'm going to try and build a forward sentry post here for another Bob repair turret. I'm going to pull additional workers. He's all in here, and I know that. And so if I'm able to stop this, I pretty much win. So it's important. I'm just going to pull a bunch of workers, and I'm going to get my units in front to tank. He's going to have to fight my units while that sentry post builds. And I'm not really going to give him a choice. So the sentry post does get up. I immediately start another one because now I've got a foothold on where I want to be. I try and micro that headshot back, but you see he's silly. He glides around and he gets stuck. And you can see that double Sovereign's Watch that he used, what I talked about earlier, they target creep camps right now. And so the speed camp is going to join into the fight, and like heroes, they're going to tank majority of the damage that would be coming out from that. It doesn't matter, even if it didn't, the Bob turret can out-repair that, and whilst my second sentry turret gets up, I'm going to be adding on a third one as well. So you can see I'm just microing back the ones that need to be healed, and moving forward with the ones that don't. Anytime one gets low, I move him back, and I focus the turret to repair him so that he doesn't die. And I have way too many hedgehogs and a great defensive position here, and so Vibe is going to GG. Thanks for watching.